Here we go, ladies. Come on now. Hey, the girl. Time to wake up. Morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I am Dalton. This is Arms and Farms, the Footlong Farmer YouTube channel. Nice 38-degree morning. I love when you walk into a barn how quiet it is in the morning. Of course, now I'm getting them up, so they're starting to make a little bit of noise. But boy, when I first got up here, all you hear is the headlocks from the girls eating. The fans just started turning just a little bit. But when I got up here, they weren't on at all. And it was just quiet. You could hear the cows chewing their cud. It was very peaceful. That's one of the things I like about winter. One of the few things I like about winter. But I do love that, how quiet it is and how peaceful it is. Whether it's in the barn, whether it's out in the woods, you know, you name it. It's a peaceful time of year. Yeah, so today, not totally sure. I know we had talked about moving some manure and starting to get that under motion. Somebody snapped this. Usually these gates don't get snapped. We've got these Z-hooks. Give me a sec. We've got these things on our gates. I call them Z-hooks. I don't know what they're technically called, but usually we don't snap them, so getting them unhooked with one hand's usually not an issue. But anyways, yeah, so today we were thinking about maybe moving some manure, but we will see what the day here brings. You love the sunrises every morning. This barn faces east and west, and I generally push this front group in this direction. Come on, sweetheart. Come on now. So every morning I get to look out at that sunrise, and in the fall, it's extra special. Here comes Grandpa pushing up feed. Pushes up feed every morning. It's the first thing he does. It's how he starts his day. Just had to run down to the parlor quick, help him fix a teat dip line, but just wanted to clear something up. I've gotten a few questions as to how I know the sires of every cow when I'm looking at them. Like, how do I know what the cow is? As much as I'd love to take credit, they've got the sire on their ear tags, guys. So when I go, like when I'm walking through the barn and I'm like, Captain Thorson, you know, Dykstra, this, that, and the other thing, I can just read it off their ear tags. Having said that, I do know quite a few of them. And also, having said that, my father-in-law, he could tell you every single one. Like, every single one. And who their dam was, and what their dam was, and probably what their dam was out of. Probably what they were bred to last. He'd probably tell you what they make. He knows every single cow very, very well. Because he's a cow guy. Through and through, he's a cow guy. So I see on Facebook a lot, you know, small farms are the only ones who know their cows. They're the only ones that care for their cows. They're the only ones where the cows have names. They just love them more than big farms. Basically, is the gist. They care about their animals more. Say big farms, cows are just a number to them. And I'm not speaking for all bigger farms. And personally, I wouldn't even put us in the bigger farm category. Say we're at 1,000 cows, but around here, we're one of the smaller farms. But it couldn't be further from the truth. If we have a sick cow, we treat it like it's one of our own children. We know the cows, we care for the cows. Like, they are our livelihood and they're our family, and we spend more time with our cows than we actually do our own family. So I just wanted to clear that up because that's a misconception. And again, I'm not saying there aren't big farms who, you know, their cows are just a number to them, because I know for a fact that there are. Having said that, I know for a fact that there are small farms who it's the same thing. They don't know their cows have a number. It's a business and it's how they make money, which at the end of the day is technically what all dairies are. If it wasn't a business and wasn't for money, no dairies could do it. So I just wanted to clear that up because I've been seeing that a lot on Facebook, and that really drives me nuts. I don't know why farmers need to attack other farmers. We should be working as a team, as a unit, to make our industry better, not to insult parts of our industry that are needed whether you like it or not. We need farms of all size in our industry to be successful and to be able to do what we need to do. I have feelings about big farms. I have feelings about little farms. But at the end of the day, we're all farmers and we all care for our animals. So I wanted to clear that up. And going back to the ear tag thing. So yes, we can see via ear tags. It's got the cow's birthday. It's got the cow's dam. It's got the cow's sire on them. That's how we order them because all of our animals are registered. So Holstein sends us our tags every month with the cow's information on them. So, but we see them every day. So like, I can see these cows and I start to pick up on, it's not so much the markings, it's the traits. You know, she's a tall cow. She's got a really nice udder. She's got really nice legs. It's no different than humans. I mean, we're not supposed to judge. You know, there's only one being in the world that can judge, and he's not even in this world, I guess. Obviously, that's Scott, in case you didn't pick that up. So, you know, we pick up on traits just like we do a woman walking down the street. She's got beautiful eyes. She's got beautiful hair. She's got really big heart. You pick up on these I'm so stupid. You pick up on these traits, and that's how you can remember cows. You know, I'll see a cow walking away from me, and by her rear udder, I might know, oh, that's this cow or that's this cow, because I've seen her rear udder in the past, and I now know that's what the rear udder looks like. And there are cows with similar traits, but there are no two cows the same. So you start to pick up on that over time. And that's that. But yes, I can't take credit for knowing every single sire of every single cow, although I do know a lot, and I'm getting better every day. So yeah, kind of a long run around of those two things, how I identify cows and size of farms and how we take care of our animals. We'll check that off the list. So I'm gonna get back to cleaning because I got stuff I've got to do, and we'll go from there. Follow along. Gonna be a good day. It's already starting to warm up a little bit. All right, let's get her fired up. We're gonna start her up, let her agitate. The trailer's clipped onto the truck, but I still gotta hook up the hoses and all of that. But boy, this might be my only concern, is getting around back here with the old Eagle, but we shall see. We'll see what she'll do. It's supposed to dry up pretty quick. First things first, I always double check that we are on agitate and not on load. So there I could see the valve. You guys probably can't see the valve because there's some manure built up there, but it is in fact on agitate. So we'll start it up there and see what she does. I'm gonna try throwing to that back corner where all the water is. The water's kind of found its way to the opposite side, just so we could work that in and get it thinned up a little bit. This lagoon, again, as you guys know, this is thick manure. Desperately needs the sand cleaned out of it. That's on the list of to-dos here. got to get that water flowing towards the pump. All right, I'll let that stir while I go get the truck hooked up. I probably better put this down in case it does get thin. I don't want it launching out of the lagoon, but we'll let it stir for a little bit here. All right, under the pipe. And you can see that kind of loosened up a little bit. We will we'll turn it a little bit, and we'll just kind of keep working it around for a while here, just to try to get all the liquid in where we gotta be. Yeehaw. There, now we're on load number 3. It's getting thinner now. We're working that stuff in. Not the right wind to be standing here though, I can tell you that. Lower this baby down a little bit. Drop this gun down in. Down a couple inches. Smaller pond drops fast. Alright, we're out here in the field. Neighbors are chopping. Running dump carts. So I'm pulling off of the road. Generally I would load on the side of the road here, but there is a dip in the road there. So with oncoming traffic and all the trucks from them hauling feed, just figured it'd be easier to pull in. It's a little greasy, but I'm able to get in and out. So it's working out pretty good. Tyler's taking it way to the far corner just because we're running one truck. It's easier. He can get it further away, and we're pretty in sync. He's pulling up right as I'm pulling in. It's not a far, we're a mile from home, something like that. So, yeah. We're gonna do something a little bit different this year. Given the amount of manure that we have versus the amount of acres that we have, we're allowed to put down more manure if you inject or incorporate the manure. So given that we do not have injectors, we have hooked up this digger here, and we're gonna incorporate it with this. We could use a speed disc. That rubber roller in the back does not like wet. So I'm thinking this will work better, just to kind of, again, incorporate the manure with the soil. I'll tell you some other reasons why when we get out there. I'm gonna help Tyler get this hooked up. All right, so basically the gist behind injecting or incorporating the manure is it gets the nutrients into the soil. If when you spread on top, the nutrients can volatilize into the air. You lose nitrogen, you lose, mainly nitrogen's the main thing, but you lose a lot of different, drawing a blank on the word. You lose value. The manure drops significantly in value, like almost half. You know, obviously you're holding on to your organic matter and your potash, and there's still some nitrogen. About half the nitrogen will end up getting into the soil if you leave it on top. But if you can incorporate it, you're capturing, 90+% of that. Also, when you get rain, snow, things like that, for obvious reasons, there's less runoff because it's incorporated into the soil. That helps hold it in place. Versus if it's all on top and it rains, you might lose some that way. We are very cautious about spreading near creeks or any high runoff risk areas. So that really helps that. But if we incorporate it, we can spread in a lot of those areas that we usually don't spread. Also, we can legally put down more per pass. If you're injecting or incorporating, you're allowed to put up to 15,000 gallons per acre in one swing. If you're just top spreading, the max they prefer you to do is about 8,000. Having said that, obviously there are times where, we'll put down more than that, like this fall. Before we put down the triticale and the wheat, we were putting on 12 to 15,000 just top spread. But we were incorporating that via our ripper within a day or two. So, and there was no rain. It was such a bone dry year in general that really, it didn't make much of a difference. So, but you know, those are the reasons we're kind of trying. There's a new P index. I don't know if it's just New York State or what, but it ranks again how many gallons per acre you're allowed to put down of manure. And most of our ground, if we were to top spread, again, we're looking at like 15,000. If we inject it, we're allowed to put up to like 35,000 gallons per acre on a lot of our ground based off of the new P index. Also, if you were to do cover crops on every acre and spread on top of a cover crop, that also bumps you up to like 25,000, 30,000, because even though you're still surface applying it, you've got that plant base to help hold the nutrients, help absorb, help use some of that nitrogen and phosphorus and things like that you're putting down onto the soil. Which is something, again, I'm hoping in the future to get on that program of doing cover crops on every acre. Maybe not drilling every acre, maybe broadcasting some stuff where we're not going to harvest it, but just using it as a cover crop. We could broadcast it, which is obviously just spreading it on top instead of drilling it into the ground. I don't know. It's always changing, the rules and regulations. So when I say CAFO, I don't remember exactly what it stands for. I'll look it up after I make this clip. But there's different size CAFOs. I don't know if it's small, medium, large, something like that. I know it's from like, if you're at 300 cows to 699 cows, there's a certain standard you have to apply. Maybe that's medium CAFO, and then anything over 700 and up is another whole set of rules and regulations, and anything 299 and under really doesn't have to abide by any of the rules that the bigger dairies do. Which again, going back to small farms versus large farms, not that it really matters, but you know, everyone looks at the big farms as the devil. There's rules and regulations that we have to follow that small farms might not have to follow, and I've never truly understood that. In my opinion, a gallon of manure is a gallon of manure. An acre of ground is an acre of ground. A cow is a cow. So, you know, if you're milking 60 cows, you shouldn't be able to spread manure right by a creek or a river without some form of nutrient plan for that acre, in my opinion. But the way it's set up right now, that you don't have to have a nutrient plan. You don't have to have emergency set of rules and regulations. There's really none of that. You know, you don't have to do soil testing. You don't have to do a lot of the stuff that we have to as big farms. Now, I know the justification for it is, well, there's so much more manure on your farm, which is true. We're milking more cows, so we have more manure, but we also have a lot more acres. So it's all relevant. If you're milking 50 cows and have 100 acres, or if you're milking 500 cows and have 1,000 acres, or if you're milking 5,000 cows and have 10,000 acres, cows per acre generally is pretty similar, because it takes X amount of acres to feed a cow. So in my opinion, that should just be a kind of a gold standard rule, no matter what size you are. A gallon of manure is a gallon of manure, or a pound of manure. You know, if you're spreading dry manure, we have to record it by the ton, which is obviously, it's not fully fine-tuned, you know. We've got kind of an average weight of a load, and we record every load of dry manure that goes out of the farm, and that goes into our nutrient plan. So again, by incorporating the manure, we're allowed to put down more per acre. Eliminates runoff, eliminates nitrogen reduction, things like that. So it's something down the road. We'd really like to get injectors for our spreader. Again, you guys have been following the channel for a long time. No, I've talked about this for a very long time. But again, you're talking 70,000 plus for a set of injectors. This field cultivator, we already have it. and we'll be able to rip across what we spread in a day pretty quickly, because we don't generally get a lot of acres covered spreading, especially days like today where there's one truck. Realistically, if I shut down 45 minutes earlier each day, I could just stop and incorporate what we spread throughout the whole day, or Caleb or Todd or Jack or Bob or one of the other guys at the farm could come out and just work it in once or twice throughout the day. That's kind of our plan. I'm kind of excited to be doing this because there's been a gray area with that new P index and trying to get farmers adjusted over to the new system and the new rules and regulations. There's been a gray area for 4 to 5 years, I would say, about, well, if you enter it as incorporated, technically there's no proof or no way. It's like, yeah, I hear you. But we also, as farmers, want to do the right thing. We want to do the right thing for our crops. We want to do the right thing for the environment. We want to do the right thing for everything and for everybody. So that's why we just decided, I kind of pushed it. I'm like, listen, this fall, if we're not getting injectors, this is what I'm going to do. And we'll see how it works, and we'll go from there. So that was a really long-winded explanation / definition of what it is that we're planning on doing with that tool. So yeah, I'm going to go have some lunch. The wife's whipping up some sloppy joes. So neither one of us have had sloppy joes literally since we were in like grade school. But I saw a can of manwich at the grocery store. I said, boy, that sounds like a really good cold weathered meal. I'm going to grab a can of this. And my wife called me before lunch. She's like, hey, sloppy joes? I was like, sloppy Joe, sloppy Joe. Adam Sandler, Lunch Lady Land. Great song. Gonna go hammer on some of this stuff, guys. Sloppy Joes are on point, no doubt. I got me a cup of Swiss Miss. I drink and I know things. Little Game of Thrones humor. Got a little Swiss Miss, a little Sloppy Joe in the bell. It's gonna be a good afternoon, I can already tell. Back at it. See, he's got quite a bit. Not a whole lot covered over there. Still chopping away over there. They're using dump carts. 10-wheelers. Pretty big field. Kind of a miserable, cold, kind of misting day. Big arctic cart there. I don't know what they're using, 3-4 carts, something like that. Haulers trucks, some economist trucks. Big claws. It's got gray sides on it. I don't know if that's something they did custom, I'm assuming. I don't think I've ever seen one stock that way. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Is there something I'm missing? Always seems like we end up working the fields at the same time. No matter what farm we're at, if we're on this road, there's people working on this road. If we're up to Court Road, seems like Jeffrey's just reading. Someone's always going when we're going, just the luck of the draw, I guess. It's kind of sprinkling, misting. Yeah, it's not supposed to rain, but what are you gonna do? Thick. There's some turds up in there, let me tell you what. Man, this is really like not good at all. Time to get to scooping. That's about 8 foot of sand. That sucks. Like kind of a lot. What are you gonna do? This is what it is. Well, this is the last load of the day, the last load for that pond. I was hoping to get a couple more loads out, but it has gotten way too thick. It's time to start digging that sand out. But Caleb's taking the last load out. Tyler's out there incorporating it in. Kind of like the gate in my video yesterday, and I said I just love doing stuff the right way. Ideally, you put injectors on that. Second option, right there. So I'm very happy about this. And it looks like he's doing just fine. I'm like really happy about this. So hopefully this works out and we can continue this throughout the fall. Another advantage to this that is an obvious one that I didn't mention is compaction. Tractor and spreader compacts, not near as much as the truck and trailer does, but it still adds compaction. Any pass across the field adds compaction. So going right in behind it, you know, at 4 inches deep, it's not fully solving the problem, but it helps. And anything that helps is a positive. So that's another positive of this. So yeah, there's that. I'm gonna have to flush the sand out of this thing before I haul anymore, because she is. I'm actually gonna check because that actually doesn't sound bad, but got a text message. Oh, it's a spam recruiter. Still, I gotta clean the sand out of it, even though it doesn't feel like it. I know there's sand in it. I don't have air gauges because obviously I don't have air suspension, but I can feel it. The empty weight in the truck. I definitely have sand in there that's got to be flushed out before we do any more spreading, which will be tomorrow. So sounds like I got my projects for tomorrow. Get this flushed out. I'm assuming Grandpa will run the excavator and we can start digging sand. A couple guys can run our slinger and our box spreader, getting rid of that. While they're doing that, I will get the pump moved to the other lagoon, get this cleaned out and back ready to rock. And by tomorrow, I'll be able to field spread with the truck. I probably could field spread right now, to be honest with you. But again, less compaction. And I certainly couldn't have this morning. So, yeah. I don't know. Really good day. It's a bit nippy for a t-shirt, but it's what it is. So, hope you guys have a good time. Had a good day. Had a good week. Had a good fall. Had a good life. We'll see you guys in the next one. Rock on. Heck.